All right, so I just got a package and I figured that we are going to do a first impressions video as live as possible. I'm going to do this very quickly and just give you my complete raw of first impressions, because that's what I like to do and that's what a first impressions video should be. This is the Powkiddy V10 model, and this came to me by LitNxt, so thank you LitNxt. I'm excited to unbox it. I'm trying to unbox it right now without even showing you the camera. So let's switch over and we will check this thing out. Pretty standard Powkiddy box. And I believe I got the black model. Here we go. Some instructions. You can check those out later. I don't feel like checking those out. And here is our SD card. That's important. We need to throw that in here. And what else comes in the box? Boy, this is packaged a little tightly. Just a USB-C cable. So it's just USB-A to USB-C and nothing special. So, all right, we're done with that. So there's your unboxing. Ta-da! What size are you? Are you 64 or 128? We are 128. Hooray! And here we go. There is the black model. Look at that. Look at that with the purple buttons. Look at how cool that looks. I like that a lot. So this is... I don't know what this is for, honestly. This is supposed to be, I guess, for GBA, Game Boy Advance games, and it's a 3:2 aspect ratio screen. You're not going to get a whole lot of performance out of here, from what I understand, but let's do a shake test. I don't hear a whole lot of rattling. Yeah, on the front, you can see, here we have a great D-pad and really nice purple buttons. I like those. Here's select and start, and you can see nothing on the side. On the back, we have the shoulder buttons, and you can open, if I can get, there we go. That's a goofy looking battery compartment. Normally, it looks like it kind of sets in a little bit, maybe. I think it kind of sits down there. But normally you would have the whole thing filled up with a battery. I don't know, whatever. Powkiddy makes some goofy choices sometimes. And if you can see, that is a 3000 milliamp battery. And on the other side, there's nothing. We'll go on the bottom first. You can see just one SD card slot and a headphone jack, and then on the top they're not labeled at all, but you can see that there's two USB-C ports. I'm assuming one is an OTG port and one is a charging port. Here we have a power button and a reset button. Alrighty, let's boot this thing up. Oh, it's running ArcOS. Hooray! That's exciting. And this should look familiar because ArcOS is used on quite a few things. I've done a video on ArcOS, and yeah, it's a pretty user-friendly operating system, so I'm happy to see this. Let's see, what is the highest that it goes to? We have DS. Not a whole lot. I don't think I see PSP or N64, Saturn, Dreamcast. Yeah, so this is not going to be playing much of anything. This is just your standard retro handheld, with the retro games. So PS1 and below with the bonus of DS. And thank you to LitNxt for sending me over this device for the purpose of this review. As always, no money was exchanged in any way. They didn't see this video beforehand, and all opinions are my own. You can see all the different colors here, and the device is going for just below $55, $53.99. Also, I have a 10% off coupon code, so make sure you use that. And there's free shipping free global shipping with LitNxt. So if you want to pick one of these up, that's pretty cool. Oh, the D-pad moves. Look at that. Well, that's weird. I guess we're going to have to do the Contra test. All right, let's check out Centipede because I was scrolling past it. No, it's Millipede. Why do you do this to me? So sad. That's so sad. Can't tell if it's turning up the volume with those. The D-pad feels like it's a little laggy in responding. I'll have to check that in a different game. I feel like the screen's getting washed out. The screen does not look this bad. I just did this off camera, sorry. To get out of an arcade game, you want to hit the start button and the minus button up here. Don't ask me why. It's ArcOS. Usually it's start and select. I mean, that's pretty universal. I'm not sure why. We are going to borrow the pretend trademark test from Mr. Russ from Retro Game Core because we need to check out the test if we can find Contra. Okay, so I'm gonna crouch him down and then kind of wiggle. Oh, that's strange. I mean, maybe the D-pad's okay. I thought it was a little bit looser than it was, so okay. Normally you're not supposed to get you're supposed to get a little bit of wiggle, but not a whole lot. It seems like it's doing good. Maybe it's just the way that I'm pressing. So your mileage might vary, but potentially the D-pad seems like it's okay. I guess we'll know after I stop being bad at Contra. And all right, let's see. Yeah. So you hit the start and the minus button and that pops you out of the game. Okay, I turned my other light off, so maybe you can see the screen a little bit better. It's probably just my LED lights because, you know, I'm in a rave right now. Fine, buttons feel fine. D-pad actually feels fine. I think when I said the thing about in 1944, I don't know why it's showing up. Sorry, apparently I can't finish a thought. In 1940, when I was playing 1944, the arcade game, I thought that it wasn't getting the input correctly with the D-pad, but it seems like it's working fine now. It seemed delayed in that game, and I think it was just the game itself. So, well, I'll definitely keep a close eye on that, but it seems like it's working for what I want to do. What I was going to say about the screen is that it is very washed out. It is not that bad. And I believe that it's just my setup at this moment. It does not like my camera, or my camera doesn't like it. Yeah, you can see the screen is not that washed out. It's actually pretty decent looking. I wouldn't say it's the best screen that I've ever seen, but it does the job. My camera does not like this. That any better? If we don't have me in the picture, you don't really need to see my face, right? Nobody wants to see my face. I guess I'll just have to angle it. So, yeah. The colors are not that bad. Yeah, I think that it just, my camera, for whatever reason, it's not liking the screen today. All right, we've moved to a different location, so now I can actually properly finish this out and play Comic Zone. I don't think I've actually finished Comic Zone, beaten Comic Zone. Let me know in the comments below if you have. This was not one of the games that I had with my Sega Genesis. So here we'll do a size comparison with the Anbernic 35XX SP. They're kind of similar in size. They're definitely not similar in price, but yeah, I mean, obviously the SP can play a lot more, and when you open up the screen, it's a little bit bigger, but the thickness, it's kind of similar. So one thing I will say about the Powkiddy V10, it is really, really light. It's very, very light. So if you're worried about maybe the SP being thicker or weight, you know, definitely the weight is going to be better. So here we have my Miu Mini Plus, and it's kind of similar to that as well. A little bit wider, obviously, but the thickness is pretty close. Okay, so one thing that I wanted to mention, and even though this is a first impressions video, it bears mentioning. You see this little guy up here? This is a Wi-Fi dongle. The sad thing is this really, it should have Wi-Fi. I don't know why it doesn't have Wi-Fi. I feel like that wouldn't kick up the price too much, but whatever. What you can do, and I'll go over this a little bit further, but so here I have in Pico 8, I threw a bunch of carts that I have saved on my computer. Select one. So you hit A really quick and then hold down B, provided that you have the Wi-Fi dongle in here. And then, did you see that? It said booting Splore. Did you see that? Also, side note, there is a Pico 8 version of Castlevania. It's called the Carpathian, and it's awesome. I've only played a couple levels of it, and I love it. I think that I might have to do another Pico 8 video. Anyway, you can go in and you can start doing that. So if you don't mind, if you really want to use Splore, just know that you're going to have to use this. I'd probably just say throw your carts on your computer, transfer them over to the card, and then you don't have to mess around with Splore. Splore is awesome. However, I don't know if you really want to walk around or hang around with this dongle in there. That's going to get old really fast. But I would recommend maybe picking one of these up if you do want to do Wi-Fi things. PortMaster, Screen Scraper, Pico 8 Splore, things like that. Forgive the smudge marks on the screen. I tried to just clean them off just now, and it's not working. So now you can see that the screen is actually working. I believe that it was just I don't know, there were some shadows or something. I tried to do this when maybe the sun was coming in. There's a window right next to me. This is a very cool game. And anytime that there is a Pico 8 demake of a game, I am all about it. I think it's awesome. To exit Pico 8, you just want to hit, you can hit the start button, and then you can favorite it if you want to do that in Explore. You can exit to Explore, and then you can go through a couple different, you know, the normal Explore menus, things like that. But if you want to exit Pico 8 completely, you can either do one of two things. You can either hit start, you can go into options and then hit shutdown Pico 8, but I believe ArcOS is pretty cool and we don't have to do that. So yeah, just start and that little minus button, and then that brings you back to ArcOS. And while we're at it, here's my ports. I just downloaded a few free-to-play ports. I will definitely say Alien Blaster is awesome. Retro Lunch actually helped me discover Alien Blaster and actually kind of got me back into ports, so thank you, Retro Lunch. And here's Apatris and Celeste. You can go back into PortMaster. Obviously, you need the dongle on here. Here's Rogue Light, a couple Sonic games. Here is Super Crate Box, which is actually the port that my favorite Pico 8 game, Super Disc Box, is actually based off of. And of course, Trogdor, because yes. Now, technically, I do believe that this can run. I know I said that it can't run some of the higher systems. This card didn't come with any of those systems. Being that this is a first impressions video, I don't want to throw some PSP games and things like that on here. I'm going to leave that for later and we'll check that out in the review, but I do think that it can run a few. I definitely would not think of this by any means as mid-tier level system. If you get a couple puzzle games, 2D games, platformers to run, then great. Think of those as super crazy bonus systems, because the chip on this is just not, it's not going to handle it, especially if you're looking at N64. Notice there is no joystick. How are we supposed to play N64? There's a couple different goofy ways that I know that you can go into. You have to go back into RetroArt, remap the controller, and who wants to do that? I will try to get that up and running for the second video on this device eventually. I don't know, I'm a little torn. I think it's a neat device. I do. I'm not a big fan of using Wi-Fi dongles. I don't remember the last time I broke out my 351p case and used my Wi-Fi dongle, to be honest with you, because everything nowadays has Wi-Fi. I think that was a big miss, because I feel like this is a very cheap PortMaster machine or Pico 8 machine. Anybody that's into those two systems would definitely love this. It's a, you know, it's a budget device. It's definitely for the retro systems, but you could definitely do a few other things with it. So, in this little dumb thing, you don't want to walk around with this on. Maybe use my tips on just getting those games on there beforehand, Pico 8 games or the PortMaster games. But it's not terrible. It really isn't. It surprisingly, the buttons and the D-pad and all the inputs play really well. I'm not sure who this is for. I don't know. I'm definitely going to check it out a little bit further and try to make this my daily driver just for a little bit. At this price point, you know, you can get the R36S, a couple different devices. You could get a 35XX Miu Mini Plus. Those have Wi-Fi. I like it. I don't know who it's for though. So let me know in the comments below. I mean, if you see this and you think, hey, that's awesome, I want to jam on this with Game Boy Advance, maybe the SP kind of scares you off with the hinge and you don't want it to break or something. You know, maybe it's too expensive. Maybe you just want to get a little device like this. Then, okay, cool. I'll check it out and I will report back with another video probably in a few weeks to a month time. Those are my thoughts, not yours. Thanks for watching. Stay awesome, everyone, and go play some games.